The No Fate channel checking in, and with the Rona still in our lives, it won't go away, but so much stuff in this country is opening up, and I know so many of you with children are wondering what is safe, what's not safe, and just losing your minds. Yeah, I say Ronavirus. Why? So that the YouTube censors don't flag the video. Okay, with so much stuff opening up, it's hard to figure out what's safe, what's okay to take your kids to, because they're just driving you crazy. So in this video, I wanted to go over 2 places that we thought were, at the very least, you know, reasonably safe compared to some other spots. So a little bit of a discussion about what we've been doing with our kids to keep them sane, to get them out and about, and give them as normal of a summer as possible. In fact, I think these kids are having a lot better of a summer than I ever had. So obviously the beach can be tightly packed, as you know, with regards to high tide, but I know at least in Massachusetts here, a lot of the beaches have actually limited the amount of parking that they're allowing, so they're reducing the occupancy of the beach. And if you're like us and you happen to take a day off of work and it's during the weekday, as you can probably see behind me, the beach is just like empty. So if you come during the week, obviously a lot less busy than the weekend. And pro tip, if you're a parent, as you know, go early in the morning. I mean, right when they open. Reason being is the kids, at least my children who are almost 6 and almost 2, they tend to hit a wall at lunchtime. So we kind of stay till noon and then feed them in the car on the way home. We have a bit of a drive to get to the beach, but it is worth it, even though the beach is expensive. And we're gonna go hunting for waves. I could teach him how to swim, but he kind of refuses. We've been teaching him, but you know. Anyway, we're hunting for waves. What's this?
That was a big wave.
We see any waves coming? We got waves. There's a big one right there, right there. You see it?
Yeah!
You excited for waves? You excited? Here it comes. Here it comes. Impact. 3, 2, 1. Oh! If you're curious, hopefully you can hear above the noise here. This is Good Harbor Beach in Gloucester, Massachusetts. A very, very beautiful beach. And thankfully the tide is going out. It does go out quite far, but I will say at high tide, it does come up quite high as well. But overall, a gorgeous beach. I've come here for years. I love it. And I think it's a really safe place with regards to the restrictions on the parking, on the capacity, on the mask requirements when socially distancing isn't allowed. And I know a lot of people, when I've come before, are doing a really good job of making sure they're not putting their towels, their stuff right up alongside someone else. So they're socially distancing even with regards to their stuff. Okay, a few other bonus parenting tips if you're gonna come to the beach to make the most of it, to keep it as safe as possible. As I mentioned, come early, try to come during the week, and as you can see, it's not a beautiful beach day. Even though we're here pretty early, don't look for the best beach day, okay? First and foremost, they're hard to come by, especially trying to work them into your schedule. And obviously, the most perfect beach days in the summertime are the ones that are gonna be the busiest. In fact, today it's supposed to rain around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's why this place is probably a lot more quieter than it normally would be, but we're gonna be long gone by then. So, and guess what? Kids don't care. Kids don't care if it's super hot, super cold. It's the beach. They love being there. Oh, look at this wave. Another tip, take it from someone who's super pale. I have a wife who's super pale, so of course my kids are super pale. Sunscreen, right? You obviously want to use sunscreen. Put it on before. Put on the sunscreen before you leave the house. That way you don't have to have a fight when you get to the beach. The first thing my kids want to do when they get to the beach, play in the sand, go in the water. They don't want anything to do with sunscreen. So of course, if you put it on before you leave, it still is good and it's effective, but you don't have to deal with the arguments. All right, I'm having too much fun in the water to bother to do the voiceover. For the second place that we thought was very, very safe for the kids with respect to the Rona, and that is the zoo, believe it or not. Hold on, here comes another one. So the zoo is another place that we thought was super safe for a few reasons. One, first and foremost, it's outside. So not only do you get fresh air, moving air, UV light from the sun that hopefully has a positive impact on reducing the transfer of the coronavirus. But the zoos that we've been going to, specifically the Stone Zoo, they put a lot of measures in place to keep people safe. Number one, mandatory masks, which regardless of where you stand on the masks, I think is a good thing. Anyone over 2 years old has to wear a mask the whole time. Also, they have one entrance and one exit. There are separate entrances and exits. And the zoo, much like the supermarket, actually made a route. So you really can't go back and forth. You've got to follow the path, which is fine because it does keep the kids safe. We got a membership that allows us to obviously go in, not stay too long, and come back as many times as we want. That obviously is the most cost-effective way to actually enjoy the zoo multiple times, especially with young kids. They get bored quite easily. Also, the zoo has tons, at least the ones that we've been going to, have tons of hand sanitizer all over the place. So, which is really thoughtful. And some of the doors that are what would be considered high-touch doors, bathrooms and the gift shops, they're actually just left open. That way, you don't actually have to use the handles to go in and come out of the bathrooms or the gift shops. Again, small things that I think go a long way in helping prevent transmission of the coronavirus and still get out, be active, have your kids socialize, have your kids actually learn some information over the summertime. Also, there's no re-entry. That's another thing that they used to have. You could go out, go back to your car, have a picnic, and come back in. Now there's no re-entry. So again, all these small things that don't necessarily negatively impact your experience at the zoo, but then make it a lot safer overall. Oh, this is a small one. I think the waves are dying down. And the last thing, as I mentioned with kids, we went there early. Also, what the zoo has been doing to minimize traffic, to reduce occupancy, is that they have timed tickets, which is nice, again, so you don't get that huge influx of people, and that creates a situation where you can't socially distance. So for us, as parents, we picked the earliest time possible as soon as they opened, and we found that that place was virtually dead with respect to the actual number of people there. Also, what the zoo did at certain cages, at certain locations along the zoo where you would be watching animals, they actually put X's 6 feet apart, so families knew if they wanted to look at the monkeys, they knew where they could be standing so that they weren't infringing on other people's space. All things that I think go a long way, that add up to a very safe environment in a situation where you still be able to get outside, get the kids out, enjoy some time, and just get out of the house. So one of the places that we go to quite often, or we did before the Rona, but we don't plan to go back probably anytime soon, is the Aquarium. I love the New England Aquarium. I think they do a great job, and it's great value if you get the membership. But unfortunately, based on how the building is laid out, there's no real way to get some fresh air in there. Also, there's not much space for social distancing. It's actually designed to really accommodate the aquatic life, and so being able to actually spread out is not something you can do at the aquarium, at least not nearly as well as you can at a zoo or at a beach. You ready to go hunt for some waves?
Yeah!
Okay, we're gonna go hunt for some waves. Here's a wave, here's a wave. It's coming right for us. Here it comes. Whoa!
They do not go down lower than this. Do not go any lower.
Don't go lower, go lower. The second location that I really want to get back to, but I don't think we're going to be going right away, is the Boston Museum of Science. Now, this is a location that I used to take my family to at least once a month, sometimes every 3 weeks, just because they do such a great job there of rotating out the exhibits and making things so interactive, so informative, and just a fun place to pop in, spend an hour, spend 2 hours, and head out. They did just reopen, and I know they are doing everything they can to allow for social distancing, minimize occupancy, and encourage hand washing, hand sanitation, and requiring face masks. With that said, I'm hoping that by the end of the summer, the numbers of the coronavirus are going to be down significantly, and that's going to be a place that we can revisit. Unfortunately, they do use air circulation. They're not able to actually open up windows and such because of the design of the building. Unlike the aquarium, the Museum of Science is a much bigger building with a lot more space to spread out. So I do think it's going to be more conducive to social distancing. The downside overall of the Museum of Science is it's such a great place to interact physically with a lot of the exhibits that it's going to be. There's a lot of high touch areas. I do know they're doing everything they can to keep those high touch areas cleaned and re-cleaned throughout the day. But of course, currently the way things stand, I'm just a little bit nervous about bringing the kids there, you know, especially considering we do have our grandparents, both my wife's and mine, watching the kids, and we want to be mindful that not only do we not catch anything, but we don't actually pass it along to the elderly. All right, the feeling and the color finally came back to my hands. Wouldn't be a great beach day by most people's perspective, but the kids have been loving it. The rain actually has held off. We've been here 3.5 hours, so it's probably only a matter of time till the kids go crazy. We're gonna go in the water one more time. The water, ice cold, the air, very cold, but we don't save anything for the trip back on this channel. Let me know in the comments below any places you've been bringing your kids to that you feel are reasonably safe. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll get them answered as quickly as I can. We're gonna go wave hunting one last time before we wrap things up and head home. If you came this far in the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as usual. Thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back. Haha. Here it comes! Here it comes! Whoa! Whoa!
Bigger!
Bigger! Is that bigger? It's a 2 going in! Whoa! Oh!